Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Nova Covert Ops on Starcraft 2 on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries. And in this episode, we begin Night Terrors. Our goal here is to successfully extract Terrazine from... Well, Alarak didn't tell us where from specifically, but it's actually kind of interesting. This mission has, in two different ways, ends up being adapted into two different co-op missions, actually.
Co-op missions, nice. So, if we were co-op for this, who would the other player get to play as?
No, Mr. Cloud. When I say co-op missions, I'm specifically referring to the co-op multiplayer mode. That it does not actually have campaign integration.
I think she's still mad about her mothership. This isn't going to be easy.
Actually, Nova, this is arguably one of the easiest missions in the Nova Covert Ops campaign, because we already have enough forces to, clear this entire mission with what we started, with what we start with.
Of course.
Hi-ho, hi-ho. Resource collecting we go.
The Emojins appear to be using biomechanical engineering to facilitate the extraction process.
You can
Oh, come on, pick up the thing. Yeah, we got the thing.
To protect the devices while I'm harvesting from them. Damn it.
All right, so we didn't actually get a chance to use these Liberator units at all during Wings of Liberty. So I should go over what these are. Yeah, but as annotations credit mentions here, there's an achievement to get 500 different unit kills with Liberators on this mission. I have no idea how the fuck you're supposed to do that, because, to be perfectly honest, I think in order to successfully do that, you would need to build about 10 Liberators and spawn camp the Protoss in order to get it done, because there just straight up aren't 500 units on this map.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds kind of stupid. Like they're literally like doubling the length of the mission, so you could just sit there and wait for the prerequisite number of targets to spawn, so you can kill them to get the achievement.
Something terrible happened here. Acknowledged.
And snipe.
Executed.
You don't really need to worry about your base for the most part during this either. Assuming that you can get around one or two bunkers full of our upgraded Marines, you pretty much don't have to worry about your own base at all. Especially because there's an additional base that you can rescue directly to the northeast, and after successfully rescuing it, a majority of the enemy forces that show up, specifically the infested Terran, end up going that way instead. So.
Some kind of creature inside
And speaking of the infested Terran, refresh my memory. Are the infested Terrans? Those are campaign-only units, right?
Technically, no, because if you bother to play co-op, Stukov gets access to Infested Terran. And for a long time, the Infested Terran were actually a unit that the Zerg could produce off of the Infestor. But not anymore, because they ended up making, what was it, Heart of the Swarm? Yeah, they ended up making about 6 months of the Heart of the Swarm meta absolutely fucking unplayable. So they got rid of that ability. I did not play. I have never actually gotten into the competitive scene for Starcraft 2 all that much, so I'm not entirely sure about the significant history revolving around its meta. But I will say specifically that there are a couple of build strategies that I like to do when I'm playing in the versus mode for Starcraft 2, and I'm not actually any good at executing on them. You've played exactly one game against me before, Mr. Cloud, and so you know that I prefer to go Protoss with Void Rays. But failing that, the most recent multiplayer patch made it so that Cyclones no longer required a factory for Terrans to produce. So I started to switch over to Terrans so I could actually react out a bunch of Cyclones. I am not entirely sure if that's actually viable in the meta right now. I actually think it is not all that viable. Given that what little I have done for examining the current meta hasn't actually shown it be all that relevant. I think Terran is still actually doing marine tank pushes because it's actually what Terran is, built to do. But I do actually really like spamming out a bunch of cyclones. It is entertaining to me.
Easy.
So, I was mentioning specifically that this mission in 2 different ways gets split up into 2 different co-op missions. What I'm referring to there is the fact that these whales that actually have these terrazine in them end up being the primary objective of missed opportunities, where we are escorting the terrazine extractors that Stetman built in order to get a bunch of terrazine for the Terran Dominion, and then the other big one is the infested Terran that are here end up being the primary force that we have to deal with during minor evacuation. And yeah, those are the missions that I was referring to.
Attention Dominion forces, we need evac. If you help us.
My God, there's somebody still alive. He's wearing a helmet.
That is the additional base that I was referring to. If you want to, and you honestly should, because this is the only time that you get to actually play with a new unit called the Herc. You can rescue them in order to have an additional resource base, and it actually is worthwhile. However, you really don't need to rescue them. Again, Nova starts off with enough forces to clear this mission effectively on her own. I build these additional liberators here specifically to have slightly faster clear speeds, and so that I can have a little bit of more defense at home, so I get to effectively ignore it. But you don't honestly need additional forces for this mission.
Now, watching how slowly these infested Terrans move, now I'm glad that Blizzard Entertainment and Starcraft 2 have decided to just stick to the mainstay and the familiar and to start weeding out the derivatives.
Engaging the enemy.
Definitely.
Also, because we have access to a Raven, Nova is effectively immortal for this whole mission. All you really need to do with the Raven is, have the Raven protect Nova, and whenever Nova gets below a certain threshold, the Raven will throw down a biomechanical repair drone, and that will actually repair both the Raven and Nova a stupidly high amount.
Acknowledged.
Nice.
To be perfectly honest, it's why whenever I'm playing Nova on co-op, I always end up building 2 Ravens, one for Nova herself, and one for my actual offensive force. Right now, we are attempting to go intercept the Tal'Darim. Because there is an achievement specifically for preventing the Tal'Darim from capturing any of the whales.
Executing. Another terrazine canister is ready for pickup.
Nice.
Got it.
Okay, stand on the spot.
No, we do not actually want to stand on this spot because we don't actually have all of our forces here.
Oh, right. Okay, we'll be back. We'll be back. Don't nobody go nowhere. Just Nova's going down. Nova's going down. Holy crap. Yep, and she's down.
I have technology.
It's fine. We stopped the Tal'Darim, and from here, these liberators will be able to pick off the rest of the Zerg forces.
Yes, sir.
Don't worry, Nova. Your body may be utterly destroyed, beaten up, and punched in the face, but we will bring you back to your old self. Don't you worry a little thing.
Yeah.
Nice to have a grounds on which Rygel can really just be the author on the book of staying cool.
Alright. These 2 need to go and kill that void prison, though.
Yeah, we've gone from covert ops to novert ops.
come on. Nova will be back in like what, 20 seconds?
I know what I have to do.
See,
Oh, she knows what she has to do. Gotta go back out there and kick some booty.
Attention! Incoming orders.
all right. Come on, Nova. Over to the one that we just successfully
Confirm
liberated.
that last.
Haha, liberated.
Y'all miss me?
Acknowledged. Liberation is a task. I've got more Terrazine coming to you, rival. Locked.
It is important that you actually pay attention to the to where your liberators are facing while they're in siege mode. To be perfectly honest, because they have this tendency of putting themselves into siege mode against and giving themselves effectively a 90-degree blind spot.
So wait, you mean the toggle modality of some of the vehicles, like the siege tank, for example, that you can play on the ground? You're telling me that some of these vehicles will just do it on their own?
No, they will not do it. They will not do it on their own, but they will generate blind spots.
Status report.
Because they're clustering around each other and they can't
Not
shoot
because they're
unless-
clustering around each other, but because their siege modes actually have a minimum range on them. It's definitely something that you can take advantage of on siege tanks specifically, because siege tanks actually do have a minimum range, and it's an annoyance, but it's not a major handicap for most units. The Liberators actually get away with having a minimum range, specifically because the liberation zones that they put up they end up being able to cast it directly underneath them, but they end up losing out on so much range on it that it usually isn't worthwhile.
Oh no, here come the shambling zombies.
Got freedom?
Nova.
But please, the little cretins are distracting me.
I'd imagine they had to leave some equipment behind.
Emergency.
All right, and here we are getting into our first major bonus objective for the mission, which will be a mini boss that we will deal with at the end of the part. Waha.
Nice. Mini boss.
Upgrade complete.
That's 3 Terrazine deliveries now. Your diligence is paying off, Nova.
Hello, flying squid monster.
It's not a squid, it's a whale.
You just rise up into the camera every time you feel like it, don't you? Because I saw that. Like, whoa, hello there. I didn't see you there.
I'm going.
I do enjoy the ambient sounds here, but to be perfectly honest, their lack of distinction is a bit of an annoyance for this part, because the loop I think is like 60 seconds or less.
So every 60 seconds you hear those noises?
Effectively, yeah.
I'll make it happen.
It's one of those things that, like, you very slowly extinguish from your memory is what it sounds like to be playing this level, and then as soon as you pick this game up after some time and you go back to this thing, oh yeah, I remember this. Oh, god damn it.
It's only a small annoyance, to be perfectly honest, but all right, Nova, get into the bonus objective area. Yes, we have a mine that we have to go and investigate.
Of course.
Well, this is different.
It's only slightly different, though. You need to recall that at this point, one of the big projects that was actually in the works at this point at Blizzard was Warcraft 3 Reforged, and Warcraft 3 specifically had a lot, not a lot, but several very iconic moments of this style of gameplay, where you would go into an area, defeat some enemies that weren't necessarily aligned with who you were fighting against, and get either experience or items from doing that. So
I see.
Acknowledged.
So it's so nice that even in the gaming industry, they find ways to salvage assets even after they abort the broader project that precipitated them in the first place.
I don't think that the Bloodbringer actually got aborted, though, to be perfectly honest, because I think that this style of demon ended up getting repurposed for WoW specifically, for I think the Cahoon spawn for Battle of Azeroth's first major dungeon on for the Zendalari.
Well, it sounds like a great opportunity to make that fourth wall break. Like, this looks a lot like a Hydralisk. Am I right, everybody?
With the exception of the fact that the Hydralisk actually does show up in Warcraft 3, so...
All the better. Self-referential humor.
Yay! We successfully took down Blightbringer and got a piece of Nova equipment for it. We have another mini-boss later on in this level. But that is the end of this part, so everyone, be safe.